Yeah, so different because with my mom, I had more time to prepare and plan and stuff. But with Jen, the night before, I was the one to take her to bed. Took her upstairs, tucked her in, left her work. I was going in the next day from like 3 to midnight, and I was
You were
asleep.
9 to 3.
I was 9 to 3?
You were 9 to 3 that day.
But that morning, it was, I think around 6 in the morning, and I get a phone call. Our coworker, the one who was doing the grave shift, and she was like, Kayla, Jen's dead. You need to get here now. Like, Jen, like.
And she had called me.
Yeah,
like 6 times.
Yeah, and so since no one was answering, that's why she called me. And so I was like, what? And she's like, the cops are here and everything. Like, just get here. And there was also the morning where my roommate, I let her take my car. So I didn't have a car. And so I like busted in my other roommate's door, and I was like, Jam Pass, I need to get to the house. She's like, take the bike. And so I flew on that bike. And it was like 6 in the morning. It was cold. I didn't even care. Just on the bike and just zooming to the house. And I get there, and I remember there was like a split second where before I turned to go into the neighborhood, I was like, why am I here? Why am I going? And then I remember I turned and I saw cop cars, the ambulance, like the lights, just like the blue and red all over. And I'm like, holy shit, like this is happening. What is happening? And I just like go to the door. I like put the bike down. I go inside and I just see our girl, like our coworker, she's just like crying. But like, I know there was like, the reason why I needed to be there was, yeah, no one was there at the time, but I didn't need to be there just to be with our coworker, but I needed to be there to help with the ladies because the coworker, she was
inconsolable.
Yeah, but she was also having to like take care of like the police who were like asking her questions, reports. She was having to do stuff. So I was like, okay, I need to be here to watch over the ladies because they were awake. They were downstairs. I'm sure they were so confused. They didn't know what was going on. They could be very frightened. Finally, like an hour or so later, Annie and more people came to the house. Yeah, first time I saw a body come down. And I was in shock. I think I had moments of tearing up a bit here and there when I had to call a couple people, but it wasn't until I got home. They dropped me off because they're like, we'll get your bike later. Dropped me off at home. Literally before I even could like shut the door in my apartment, I dropped to the ground, and that's when it hit me. Still didn't hit me, but like it hit me way more.
You had so much adrenaline.
So much adrenaline, and I lost it. I cried so hard for like 5 hours straight, and I was so miserable because I had to go into work that night too for 3 to midnight. So I'm like, all of this, what was same from last night, tucking her in bed, to literally the next night, 24 hours, 23 hours, and it's so different. The environment was just completely different.
Something that I've thought about too is, so with our job, it's a group home, and so for business sake, you gotta get someone else in there. Mm-hmm. Like, they do care that someone passed, and they do care about people's feelings. However, they are still a business, so someone else had to move in, and they had to take her room. Yeah. And they have a waiting list, and literally people on that waiting list are waiting for people to die so that they can get in. Because in our job, it's rare if someone graduates from the company and like moves out on their own. Like, probably in other areas it would be a little more common, but not so much here. But anyways, so someone else moved in, a new friend moved in, and it was not even 3 weeks later, I don't think. Yeah. I told all of you guys that I don't think anyone's gonna move in yet. I don't think they would do that to us. And then I went into a meeting and they were like, yeah, we've got someone, they're gonna move in. And I was like, shit, I just told everybody that they got time. And you know, like, that is something that's like, give us a second.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But where they were a business, it was a little more, I don't know, desensitized. I feel like I've used that word so much.
But and that's the thing. Again, going back to all of this on how each loss in your life of, it's okay if you need to take your time, or it has to go fast. Because with that death was, you know, she was so close. It was very devastating. But again, because it was our work, I felt like I also wasn't given that time, to fully grieve, because as much as I could, then boom, we had a new individual come in, and then that's a whole other thing, whole other environment, whole other life. It's almost like we just had to keep going. And so through all of that, like we had moments where we would still laugh and joke and stuff about Jen, but honestly, thinking about it right now, I still don't think I really have my full time to really fully process her because of how fast it had to go. The lady that moved in, we love her, obviously. She's our girl. We love her so much. But that's the thing, though. Our attention, our heart, our everything was put onto her. And so not as much to Jen in a way that I would personally like. But but to me, that's also like knowing life. I know that I'm going to have those moments and times and discussions and friends where I will, if I want to or if needed to be, guided by the universe, that those moments of more healing, more grieving, more understanding that she is gone, or how I'm going to take this in, or how I'm going to grow from it, or just feeling her presence in peace, that's going to come. It's never of, God, you're still grieving? That was so 2017. Like, no.
I've had, like, they died 15 years ago, Annie, move on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like...
Exactly. Well, and here's the thing, though. This is what I'm saying, too, as well. When I'm saying that you guys can grieve for as long as you want, it's okay. It's okay to feel all this. I'm not saying that I'm shutting myself away from the world and I'm being so sad and depressed for all of this life. I'm still doing me. I'm still happy. I'm still strong and positive. I'm still going through about life with different jobs, celebrating new life. She had a kid. She like moved into a new home. Like we're still celebrating these chapters and we're still having our moments of success and our other trials in life. So still go out and live life to your potential, to what you want to do, what you feel passionate to do, but that it's still okay to feel things like that, to be in the moment, because that is a part of life.
In that moment of your happiness, I actually had one when we were moving in here. I was like, oh my God, I am so happy. I feel so blessed. Mm-hmm. And then it wasn't for a particular reason or like a particular person, but I did for 1 second feel sad. And I had to like take a second and I was like, I am basking myself in this like glory of accomplishment that like Kyle and I have. This is like our best staple in our relationship was moving in here because we put so much faith into each other and it worked out.
Wow.
And I felt kind of sad, but I still don't really know why, but I just kind of let myself feel that in private for a couple minutes. And then I was like, put my pants back on, let's go. Like, go get the rest of your shit.
But you were willing to
carry
feel
it in
that
here. Yeah, and it's okay. And it took me a long time to be okay with feeling something because the only time you feel sad or anything like that, you feel like, okay, now my whole day is ruined. I have to feel this all day. But it's like, no, you don't. Yeah. It's sometimes you do wake up and it does consume your whole day. That's okay. Just try tomorrow. Let's try to have a better day.
Yeah. What is your
My favorite memory after Jen died, when we were gonna move her in, and we were moving all of like Jen's stuff finally out, and we laid on Jen's bed in her blankets, and we had like all of her little knick-knack toys she never played with, and
her makeup brushes.
We were brushing our faces, and we were like taking pictures, and we just like held all of her stuff, and that I think that I felt so close.
That's when I got her slippers and her shirt, because I feel like at that time there were a lot of like new coworkers coming in
and they didn't know, or they'd be like, oh, that girl, and I'm like, you don't have to talk about it like it's the worst thing ever. Like, ask questions. You're allowed to be curious.
I'm not saying any of the coworkers at the time couldn't like be as sad as we were. Obviously, like they had their connection and relationship. There's a few coworkers I know in my heart that you guys, they've had their connection with her, but we were there the longest to have that moment.
That final moment.
And
it was, you know, her mom was coming over to pick up the rest of her stuff because this new girl was going to move in the next day. And my bosses were telling me to get her room cleaned. And I was like, what? And I still hadn't been in there.
Yeah.
I don't think either of us had. And her mom was like, yeah, I'll come pick up all of her stuff. Just, you know, let me know a time or whatever. And before she got there, Kayla and I sat on Jen's bed and we just
hung out because that's what Jen would have done too. Mm-hmm. That's what we do.
It was like the simplest part of all of it. It was so easy, and I didn't feel like I had a crunch time. I didn't feel like I had to feel a certain way. It just was a moment of nothing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, we just sat there and it was so nice. And I think that where we just had like a different, not like connection with her, but just like with each other, it like when we would talk about things on the bed or like do like the little makeup brushes or whatever on her face, it had a different sort of connection for me. Like, I felt different with that because I was like, this is nice. Like, this is something that like I never would have thought would happen. Wow. Because you don't meet someone thinking that they're gonna die, but I do. That's something that I do.
But because you do, you really.
It's because it's because a lot of people have died in my life.
You share your appreciation to them so much more though too.
I do, yeah.
Whether you might not physically express it in your heart or in your mind, like I know that you carry a lot more towards that person, which that is not a bad thing. That is a beautiful thing. That is awesome. And I know that you're not the only one that feels like that. I know there are people that probably cope your way, that they think, just like you, they think that something's wrong with them. When in reality, it's not. You're human.
I know. I'm just like, why can't I feel anything? Or like, sometimes it's just like, when something happens, like, my sister gave me a blanket that she friggin' made. She got pictures of me above it printed on it, and it like had a taco saying in the middle of it, and I cried. But like, when other things would happen, like my friend made me some jewelry and it had like his birthstone in it, I didn't feel anything. Yeah. And it's like little things like that. It's like, that was such an amazing gift. Like, you went, she made it look beautiful, and it's like, you didn't have to do that. Yeah. And I'm sorry that I didn't cry while you did. Yeah. Didn't have to cry. It didn't mean that you did not love it. Yeah, I do sometimes always think that there's something wrong with me. So I'm like, why am I not crying? There's nothing wrong with you. Why am I so hollow? You open me up and there's nothing inside.
Oh my god. Can't relate. Can I be that skinny? Well, as beautiful a video this is, it also sometimes can be, I don't know about you, but sometimes it can be draining a little bit spiritually or just like internally for me. Just to recuperate. But it's not a bad thing though. Because again, it's not a bad thing to feel all this. I think I'm really grateful that I got to express this. Not just especially with Annie, but just to you guys, whoever's watching. But really, just to myself too. To me, right now, this conversation I'm having with a dear friend, that's growth and recovery and healing and just expressing more of myself that I didn't know I was capable or I didn't know that could happen. So I'm really grateful. Do you want to go do something? There's something. What do you want to do? Oh my god, do you want to get oh wait, no, Big J's is closed. Damn it.
You're thinking about food. I was going to ask if you wanted to go see Jen.
In our defense, that's what we do. We get food all the time. Oh my god, let's go get a Starbucks at least.
Okay, yeah, let's go get a Starbucks. I just want to go see her. We don't even have to do anything, just... Yeah. I just want to go. I don't really remember where it's at either. I just know it's like on an end somewhere. I love that. I saw it in the rain.
What an adventure.
And I really don't remember where it is.
Well, on that note, thank you for watching this video. Again, I am going to put more information about Annie. Go check out her stuff because just like me, having a story about things that I've gone through, she is doing that as well. She's starting to find her voice and just talking about her and her family and her life and what she's gone through. This woman, her page is beautiful. Thank you for watching. You do you, boo. Go shine. Go live your life. Bye. You guys, remember I told you in the video, every time I see a beautiful sunrise and sunset, to me in my heart, it's my little message from my mom. And today was the first day I started editing the video on talking about losses. So I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it as her letting me know. Just post the videos. Just start sharing. Just live life. everything is gonna be okay. I just had to share that.